Our top story this afternoon, it's a developing one involving the former Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Let's bring in our political editor, Mr Clennell. And Andrew, it looks like after many months of discussion, the former Prime Minister has secured a number of roles and he looks like he's going to be calling it quits. As you reported a few hours ago that this was happening, and looks like it'll be happening within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right. I expect an announcement in the next few days, and then Scott Morrison wants to return to Parliament apparently to give a valedictory where he'll no doubt talk about his legacy, managing COVID and the like. So we reported it first a couple of hours ago, around 11 a.m. this morning. And since then, talking to more people, a lot of people in the Liberal Party are aware of it. Senior Liberal Party sources have indicated to me it's very much happening. Mr Morrison hasn't returned any messages from me. So it does seem as if he's calling it a day. Is there ability to call a by-election the same day as the Dunkley by-election? Well, you'd hope so from a taxpayer point of view, a voter point of view, but it may be too late for that. Maybe not. I mean, maybe there's time for those writs to be issued rather than have, because this would be the fourth by-election of this 3-year term of government, which is quite extraordinary by modern standards, really. It's a safe Liberal seat, Cook. Look, one rumour I did hear was that Mike Baird, the former New South Wales Premier, has been sounded out to stand for the seat, but I'm told to hose that one down. If Baird's interested in anything, apparently, it is Warringah, which is Zali Steggall, and that'll be a hard one to take. Bruce Baird was the member for Cook prior to Scott Morrison. That's Mike Baird's father. And you asked Bridget McKenzie during the show, Kieran, about this impending retirement after we reported the news this morning.
Ultimately, that's a decision for Scott Morrison when he chooses to leave Parliament. His time as Prime Minister was incredible. I mean, he saw us through a global pandemic incredibly successfully when you look across the globe at where other nations ended up at the conclusion of that. So I think his Prime Ministership will be very well regarded as time goes on.
And Andrew, given the 55-year-old former PM, he was the architect, heavily involved in AUKUS, that defence and security partnership, this is where he wants to take the next phase of his career. As I say, he's only 55 years of age.
Well, yes. I mean, there's been speculation about a defence role, speculation about an overseas job. Last year went to air with speculation about a consultancy job. It's yet to be seen if these things have materialised, but no doubt we might get some information on them in the statement, or as often happens, Kieran, it's a couple of months later the job gets advertised. No pension, sadly, for Scott Morrison. I think all ex-Prime Ministers, particularly if they serve for a certain amount of time, deserve a pension. That's one of the reasons he had to stay a backbencher, even though he lost the election. It seems quite an absurd situation, really. So he would have had to secure a role. He's also written a book about the role of Christianity in his politics and his time as Prime Minister. We're aware of that. So no doubt there's a job in the offing. There had been speculation he'd stay until the next election with no role forthcoming. But it seems Scott Morrison is leaving the Parliament. That's 4 by-elections in less than 2 years, Kieran.
Yeah, you and I are going to be on air March the 2nd, the Dunkley by-election. That's going to be an interesting one. And no offence to the beautiful Shire, it's a wonderful part of Sydney and Australia, but as politics goes, it's not as interesting, is it? You would expect the Liberals to hold that and hold it pretty comfortably regardless of who they put up.
The Shire? Oh, absolutely. I mean, that would be no problem at all for the Liberal Party. Dunkley's a different matter. Gee, the first casualty of war is the truth, so I don't know what to believe, but I think there's expectations management from both sides. It's hard not to see a swing against the Labor Party here. It's whether they can hold on with that 6% margin, and what they do on the stage 3 tax cuts will play into that. And that's why I've been speculating they're not going to do too much at the high end, while my understanding is they're going to announce more money in terms of tax cuts for lower to middle income earners. We'll know soon enough. We'll know tomorrow, Kieran, after the caucus meeting.
Well, as always, you got the sniff very early on today, and thank you for that and keeping our viewers up to date on that with Scott Morrison to call it a day in federal parliament.